welcome along to the Rugby Pod. Big Jim and Goodey are here again this week, and Beer 52 are on board. You guys enjoyed your beers this week?
Mate, I have, mate. I've enjoyed them in Scotland, on the west coast of Scotland, but I know you'll get onto that. But I've enjoyed mine, and they were cold, and it was by a fire. What more could you add? What more could a man or a woman want?
Maybe did you share them with Beck?
Yeah, I did.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, she basically took them into the kitchen and brought them back out, if that's what you call sharing.
Beer 52 are a British company, and they're passionate about the UK craft beer scene, but they also bring you a beer every month from places like New Zealand, South Africa, and the USA, all over Europe. As a welcome offer for all you Rugby Pod listeners, they're offering 8 craft beers sourced and curated from the best breweries on the planet for free. All you've got to do is go to beer52.com/rugby and cover the postage. That's the word beer followed by the number 52.com. And if you sign up but then change your mind, it's really easy to pause or cancel your account. So you've got nothing to lose. Just get on your phone or your laptop, type in beer52.com/rugby and get your first case of 8 beers for free. That's beer52.com/rugby. And by doing so, you'll be also supporting the Rugby Pod. Jim, how was your week? You're about to tell us.
Well, it depends how far you want to go back, because we didn't record last week for scheduling purposes. And a lot happened.
What was it, scheduling?
Yeah, scheduling my stretchingness of my back. Lads, it was breaking news, and we could have spoke about it last week, but we didn't. I'm back. Mate, hey, the king returns. I'm back playing rugby, lads, if you call it that.
Mate, what I saw was embarrassing. That's all I'm saying. I'm just going to leave it there.
What was?
The picture of you nearly fucking falling out. You look like a giraffe, mate, on ice.
Mate, I'm about to tackle the bin man, mate. It's
mate, you've classically dropped the ball again, and then you're thinking, well, how can I rectify this? Oh, I'll give a penalty away. In touch as well. How are you doing that, mate?
How do you know it was touch? It was touch. How did you know?
I have my sources.
Mate, I have been absolutely ball-bagged for nearly 2 weeks off the back of that, but it stalled for a while. And I'm going to name drop the club. I didn't know whether I could say it because X had a few problems because they had a similar name, but it's the Curry Chieftains. I don't know if you can say Chieftains.
Oh, mate, be careful.
Mate, well, I am. I'm saying it because that's their name, mate. I can't not say it. That is their name. The Curry Chieftains. And at the minute, things have stalled, mate. Contract negotiations. An offer was made. I genuinely thought it was a week. It turns out it was a year.
What, they're offering you a decent salary? You thought it was a week and it was a year?
Well, it was $2,500, and I said to the guys a week, and he said, no, we're thinking that for the season, but hopefully you could put the donation in via the Rugby Pod. So,
mate, well, you pay it, and I think as it's the Curry Chieftains, I'll just come for a chicken tikka masala if that's all right.
I don't get it.
You play the rugby, I'll eat the curry.
I get it. But oh yeah, the curry bit. Sorry, I didn't know where you were going with the Chieftains and the curry. Mate, there's too many C's, mate. There's too many C's. Well, yeah. So we'll see how that unfolds. But the Lions are behind me. It's all about belief. Now it's touch and go whether I'll make the Lions. I'll be honest. I'm 37.
They did interact though, didn't they?
They did. And I've got to be honest, for the people wondering, to reiterate, it's touch and go. Whether or not I could make it, I mean, it'd be one of the greatest stories known in rugby, wouldn't it? I mean, tell me a better story. You ain't going to find one. So,
if you make that Lions tour, I mean, I dread to think what I'd do. I'd go tops off and streak. If you got on the pitch as a Lions player, I'd have to just like go tops off at the ground and streak. It has to be all official though. You have to be properly in the squad. It's not like some joke invitation. But mate, I mean, how sore was your body like the next 2 days? I went trampolining the other day with the twins.
Mate, that's one of the worst things.
Mate, my back, my knees, my ankles, they're all in bits still. And I'm just thinking of you playing rugby.
Were you on the trampoline?
Mate, I bounce pretty high with my belly goes up and down. Boom! And,
no doubt.
Yeah. But, mate, how sore is your body?
Well, that's it, mate. I can't trampoline now because obviously body's business and all that. So I'm not even doing that. But yeah, I was in pieces, I'll be honest. The ankle, the Achilles. But mate, Goodey, you know me. I'm a warrior, mate. I just get on with it. And
yeah, don't complain. You just, mate, head down, work hard, don't you?
Yeah. So we'll see how that unfolds. But for the masses wondering, yeah, I mean, I'm going to talk about myself in the third person now. Big Jim's back, baby.
Well, it came about 6 months later than expected, but the European quarterfinals weekend didn't disappoint, did it, boys?
It certainly didn't.
How good?
Yeah, mate, it was great. It's great to see.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah, mate, it's great to see the games on. And I actually specifically enjoyed the French games that were, you could see fans. It looked semi-normal, didn't it? We got fans in the stadium. I think there was 5,000 each one. And it looked great. There was a bit of actually regular crowd noise as opposed to what they're playing through the TV at the minute, which they have to. But we'll get to it. The big one, ultimately. They're all big ones, but the biggest of big ones. Leinster's record's gone. And Jim, you called it on here a few weeks ago, didn't you?
What did I say?
Well, you said that Leinster would go unbeaten all season. So you backed Leinster to beat Saracens. And no, as Roman Poit says. It didn't happen. Saracens came to town and did a job, didn't they?
I love how you couldn't bring yourself at the beginning of that sentence to say Saracens have gone over there and done a job. Your line was Leinster's undefeated record is gone. That's what you said. Mate, you couldn't give it more than that. Mate, undefeated, 20 games undefeated.
It's actually 25, Jim.
20. Well, there you go. I thought it was 20. It's 25. And you know what? I've worked it out. While I was over, and it's one of these light bulb moments. I'm over on the west coast of Scotland for the last few days. I'm swimming in open water. I'm a wild man. And I'm thinking, I'm deep here. I'm in deep water. I've put my head under. I'm not drowning, but I could have drowned. I'm like, that's been Saracens. My analogy. When I'm nearly drowning in the west coast of Scotland, I'm thinking about Saracens. I'm thinking, they've been drowning. Leinster, you like this analogy? Look, Leinster, they haven't even dipped their toe in water, mate. They don't know what it means to be drowning. Do you get it? See what I'm doing here? Like Saracens, no, you don't. No.
Yeah, it's shit, Jim. I'll be honest, it's shit. But I suppose, from my point of view, the reason they were so good, Saracens, was they finally got a world-class Scottish second row playing for them.
Don't you mention his name.
Mate, Swinno, mate, how good was he?
Do not mention his name in front of me. All I'm seeing on social media is him cuddling my apprentice, Marrow, after the game. I'm like, Swinno, mate, get your sub stop on. You got subbed off. Don't. I'm hating it. Mate, well happy for the lads.
Let's get into it. And I tweeted about it. It was a champion performance by a champion team, and they are still the champion Saracens of the Champions Cup. There's not a champion in that. But as a game, you know, the way they played, they were physical, they're scrum dominated, and you know, you can look at all sorts of other games and compare it. But I think actually, you look at every time a big English team, whether it's England, whether it's Saracens, comes up against Ireland or Leinster, we bully them. You go back to a couple of years ago in the Six Nations when England went over to Dublin and smashed Ireland to pieces. Then we've done it again in the Six Nations last year. Saracens have done it to Leinster in the final last year, bullied them physically. And then they've done it again this year when everyone, to a man, except for people that were related to Saracens, probably thought Leinster were big favourites. And Saracens, they've got that ability. You look at the team and, you know, you can talk about various things that went on in the game. And I know, you know, there's Irish people saying that they were beaten by the better team. They were. There's Irish people that are disappointed with Leinster's performance. It's all about Saracens and what they did. Their intensity, their physicality, the scrum, you know, was their ruthlessness. Even Alex Goode, he scores that try. Duncan Taylor, where's he been for the last however long? He pulls on a Saracens shirt in a knockout game. He was unbelievable. Gets his hands free in the contact, gives it back to Alex Goode. Alex Goode, you know, steps in at 10. They've just got belief, haven't they? And I think Leinster have got that question mark over can they cope with Saracens' physicality and intensity? Because that was, by the way, the last game they lost in the final last year. And when you add in a world-class Scottish second row to the mix in Swinno, finally Saracens have got one. You know, it was written in the stars, wasn't it, Jim?
I can't believe it. I'll be honest. I didn't think Saracens were going to win. But then when they did win and I watched the game, I could understand why a lot of that team felt that they could win. Like they haven't played that well. Mark McCall said after a few press conferences in the Prem, they've got nothing to play for. I spoke to Alex Goode last week for Rugby Pass. He said it's been tough with everything that's going on with Owen and all that stuff. But they're big game players, right? You said it there. Like when they need to turn it on, they can turn it on, and they've done that consistently for years, and they've had the squad to do that. We know that. You look at the squad now, and it looks very different in terms of the strength and depth. I mean, I wouldn't even be able to tell you all the players that are on the bench. Like, I wouldn't be able to sit here and reel the names off without having it in front of me and being like, oh yeah, he was on the bench. I just thought they've been clearly emotionally building up for that game for weeks, right? It's spoken about. They're flying over to Dublin, and I think a large part of that, there was other narratives around it. It was Jackson Ray's 250th game for the club.
Yeah, what a stalwart he is.
Unbelievable. Yeah, unbelievable. Alex Good obviously playing 10, and the stuff around Owen that's happened before. That kind of stuff generates excitement within the Saracens team, having been there before. And the other big thing about it is they're obviously playing in Dublin at the Aviva. There's no fans. So
no fans.
And one of the best things that Saracens have always done when I was there, and looking at how they go about their business, all this salary cap stuff, all the stuff to do with Owen, any drama that they've ever had, they always speak about the group and building energy and atmosphere and belief from within. They don't look outside. They're not looking for the fans to be giving them energy or whatever. And mate, I mean, if any team was going to do it, it was Saracens. I thought, like you said, Goodey, their scrum, Vincent Cockney, old Mohawk Duda, was unbelievable. And you want your big games. He's a World Cup winner. So you talk about the players that they haven't got. It's the players that they have got is still world class. They were wicked.
Well, we can find out just how big a win that was and how tough it was at the Aviva, because we've got the man of the match from Saracens' quarterfinal win over Leinster on the line. Mike Rhodes joins us. How are you, mate?
Yeah, good and you, bud.
Rhodesy, mate, we're very, very good. Tell me, mate, you look a bit down in dumps. We can talk about that because some news has come out just as we're about to record. But what I wanted to ask about the team is about you personally, not the man of the match, but just being back on the pitch, because I know you've had a few injury problems with the old back. And, you know, there was whispers out there in the public domain whether or not you play again. You're obviously playing again, and you're playing phenomenally well. So just personally, how happy are you to be back out on the pitch?
Yeah, you know, I'm over the moon. As you quite rightly said, there was a bit of time where I didn't know if I'd play again. You know, the back was giving me a bit of issues, but I guess one of the pros of the Corona sort of lockdown, it gave me some time to rest up. And seem to have come back all right. Obviously being managed quite a lot, but you would know about that, obviously, Jim. But
no.
But yeah, so far come out and it's not feeling too bad, and things are holding up. So yeah, I'm definitely enjoying playing again.
Well, can I just ask you about your back? Is it a long-standing injury that basically was born out of the fact that you had to play with Jim Hamilton at Saracens a few years ago, and he's weak as piss? He's weak as piss pushing the scrum, so you had to give it extra grunt, which is why your back's now gone.
No, well, it's good. It comes down more to the fact that I had to do all his line-out jumps for him. As he couldn't jump, so that's the problem, Cameron.
There we go. There's a claim there, Jim.
But look, Rosie, mate, look at the line-out of the weekend. If it wasn't for me actually coaching you through and letting you get them drills and them movements in, mate, you would never have been flying like an eagle at the weekend.
Yeah, mate, I learned from the best there, Jimbo.
You're welcome. Goodey, I'll ask this question actually, and then we can get on. So in terms of performances and games and wins, you've been involved in a few, right? Just how big and how good one was that, putting everything into context around yourself personally, but everything that the team's gone through over the last year?
Yeah, Jim, you know, it was massive, to be honest. Obviously, over the past couple of years, been lucky to be involved in a couple big wins and you know, a couple finals. But in a year where Saracens have sort of taken a couple big hits, you know, we've been playing effectively for nothing really in the Premiership, and I think the vast majority of the public writing us off in terms of our ability to beat Leinster away. It was great, and you know, it was sort of one of the better performances we've had in the last couple of weeks, and we really came together and things just really clicked for us as a team, so it was amazing.
And just looking at the game, obviously you end up with man of the match. It was a massive performance by you, both sides of the ball in attack and defence, big hits, carrying well, but there were quite some other performances, weren't there? Vincent Cock, good mate of yours. He's won with his scrum 7 penalties. I'm sure he was knocking on the door saying, how the fuck have you won it when it should have been me? Maritoji was a massive performer as well, wasn't he? Alex Good at 10. There were huge performances across the field. Do you get a bit of stick in the change room for getting the man of the match award when there could have been so many others?
Yeah, 100%. You know, there's nothing like your mates to actually try hammer you for getting a good achievement. So, McAvoy definitely gave it to me the most. Even though he was walking around the field for most of the time, but as you rightly said, a lot of lads really played outstandingly well, and you've mentioned a couple there. So I think it could have gone to a couple of lads, and for once it sort of swung my way. So I wasn't complaining when I heard my name called out.
And then Rosie, give us a bit of insight into the build-up for the week. We obviously all know it was huge news around Owen's ban. I spoke to Goodey last week actually for a feature that I did with Rugby Pass, but you mentioned people writing you off, right? And I was one of them. Obviously, I wanted Saracens to win. I'm a Saracens fan, everything they've done for me, and it goes without saying, I just jump on the kind of champions bandwagon. But ultimately, Leinster 25 games unbeaten. It's in Dublin. They almost look unbeatable. I was at the final against Ulster, and it was easy for them. Like, give us some insight into the lead up in the week about what's been said about, and I know you've got a semi-final and hopefully a final off the back of that. So I don't know how much you can give us, but just give us a bit of insight into what Mark and the guys were saying.
Yeah, look, we just tried to focus on us, as you say. All the focus in the media was on them, about them, how well they're playing. Having not lost a game in whatever it was, 25 games. Even since we've come back from lockdown, we hadn't played particularly well. So that was all the noise that was going around. We decided, we'll just sort of focus on us, put all our effort into what we do best. And, I suppose also going up there as the underdogs doesn't hurt either. So, there's just a great energy throughout the week, and I think emotionally everyone was there. There's a couple players that might be leaving at the end of the season, and you always want to send them off well. It was Jacko's 250th game, so there are a lot of big emotional points to gear us up. Obviously, it goes without saying, playing in a quarterfinal for Europe away against Leinster, if you're not geared up for that, there's something wrong with you. But it just felt like a really good week of preparation going into it.
How weird is it, Rhodesy, within the team now, and how much has that kind of brotherhood had to kind of pull together in terms of everything that's happened? Because it isn't just COVID, it isn't just the Owen incident that happened obviously the other week, the glaringly obvious one, and we are going back a while now around the salary cap stuff, but it's also the loss of players. Lazowski, Ben Earls carving up in Bristol, big Wills over in La Rochelle.
Nicky Zikwi's gone to
exactly. Mate, it's ridiculous, isn't it, the amount of players now that aren't there that were. So how much have you guys had to pull together in the face of adversity?
Yeah, we've had a lot of chats about that within the players. Obviously, knowing that we would have to do exactly that, pull together, sort of focus exactly what's going on in the club and try to block out all the noise. We always had a very good sort of idea of what we were about. You can look at however we've been perceived by the public after all that's gone on, but we sort of always believed in ourselves and believed in what we could achieve. So we've had to lean on that now, and it showed on the weekend. Obviously some new faces, lost a couple players that give us a lot of depth, but as you've seen, guys, unbelievable stars like Tim Swinson and Alec Cleary, and a couple others. It's not I kind of mention them, but they've come in and they've really sort of grabbed the opportunity and stepped into the role and fitted into the team and done exceptionally well. So you know what it's like. It's always been a tight group of mates there, and we always try make sure we perform for each other, and that's sort of what we're kicking on with.
And we're recording this now, and we just heard the breaking news that I don't want to bring some bad news to the scenario, but obviously about you being cited for the incident with Robbie Henshaw. Can you I hadn't even seen it. Like I watch things like a hawk, and I couldn't even see it. Can you just give us a bit of insight into what you've been cited for? I mean, it seems negligible, really.
Yeah, it came as a bit of a shock to me. There wasn't sort of a particular incident in the game between him and I, but apparently, so there's a clash of heads and a breakdown, and we are viewing the footage and stuff this evening just before I jumped on with you guys. Look, you both know as well as I do, I can't really say anything when it comes to that side of things until I'm like you guys, retiring and sit on the couch, and then I can say what I'd like.
We do that.
Yeah. But we'll see what happens. Of course, from our point of view, I don't think there's anything in it, but we'll see how it pans out, and hopefully I can still play in the semi-final.
Off the back of that, Rhodesy, as well, and your performance at the weekend, we always talk about this, and we talk about international, we talk about England. There was a real opportunity for you. I can't think, was it a couple of years ago? I mean, I've lost track of bloody time, but it's not so long ago where your name was thrown into the mix. I know you were thinking about obviously swearing your allegiance to the 25 grand. I mean, to the English Rhodes.
Only 17 now.
He knows.
It's gone down. Maybe forget it then, and try and find a Scottish dog, or just team up with Swinnow and you play for Scotland. But have you even thought about anything like that? Has there been any chat about international? Are you disappointed that never happened? Or, it might still happen if you keep playing the way you are.
Yeah, there hasn't been any more chats from anyone from England. Of course, I was disappointed when I didn't get a chance to play. I was, of course, like anyone, looking forward to to testing myself for, in the international arena. So, as I say, there's unfortunately for me, it's pretty quiet on that front. But if the opportunity ever came up, obviously I would once again, jump at the chance to play international rugby. So we'll see. Maybe I need a couple more man of the matches to get noticed there.
Mate, I'm there at the weekend, so I'll give you it, mate.
Oh, cheers, boy. Thank you. I appreciate it.
It's interesting, actually. You look at this weekend's 4 quarterfinals, and 3 of the Man of the Match awards went to boys that are born and bred in South Africa. So Cheslin Colby, Jacques Vermeulen, and your good self, Michael. So there must be something in it. So South Africans come over to England. Pretty good, aren't they?
Yeah, no, exactly. I suppose Ches is a bit slightly more dynamic than I am, but it's good to see the South African boys doing well over here.
He's younger. I think he might be.
That's it.
Rhodesy, what's the future look like for you in terms of next year? Are you going to, I don't know, even know who's in the champion? I mean, is Cornish Pirates still there? You're going to track down there for a night and stuff? I mean, what's in it? The future.
So I'm still here for next season. We'll be going to all sorts of weird and wonderful places I've never been before. Look forward to it. I mean, it'll be something different, a chance for a lot of the younger players to come in and get experience, and old boys like myself can get 20 minutes on the bench and then go have a pint in the change room. So hopefully it'll be a good chance for the team to build and get ready for hopefully going back into the Prem the following season.
Rhodesy, after playing for the Sharks in South Africa with you when you were coming through, my first game back in England was Plymouth away in the Championship because I signed for Worcester and they got relegated. I'm telling you now, it's a horrible place to go. Some of those places you're going to go. So you're right. Make sure there's beers in the change room. That's all you need to get through the experience.
Yeah, I heard we've got a couple boys that have been there, so they're giving me all the advice we needed. But it's mostly evolves around having enough beer, so that's quite right.
Or gin. Let's just talk a little bit about that. Hey, what a segue!
Great segue.
I like how you did that.
Smart, Rhodesy. Just give us a bit of insight into that. I know there's a bit of momentum building around this business that you're building away from rugby.
Yeah. Well, obviously, Jim, we started a gin company going on 2 years ago called Fines Master Gin. Things have been going well. Of course, like everyone else, COVID had quite an effect on it. All the pubs and whatnot getting shut down. Not too many people out drinking, but we've managed to weather the storm a bit, and starting to get going again. So it was myself and a friend of mine from back in South Africa that used to play for your old team, Leicester, Pat Saliers, and so hopefully things will turn around a bit now that things are opening up, and we can get things back on the road.
So, Rhodesy, if you want to sell 1 million bottles off the back of this, right, which could well happen, where do they find the gin? Where do they find the best gin in the land?
Yeah, well, you can go to finesmaster.com or Masters of Malt. We are in a couple retail outlets. more of the boutique ones, not none of your Sainsbury's and things, but we're in about 180 outlets in London. So probably go down to 7-Eleven. You might find it down there. And grab a bottle and support some struggling rugby players.
Right, Mike. Well, thank you very much for joining us, and best of luck for your hearing, and best of luck for the rest of the Champions Cup.
Cheers, mate. I appreciate it. Cheers, guys.
Top bloke.
Top lad.
Top bloke.
Mate, Saracens, are you sure? Mate, I
played with him before you did, Jim.
I know. Hey, look at him.
He's one of my Sharks teammates. He was a good boy. He looked after me. Took me out on a few nights out in Durban back in the day. Him, Alistair Hargreaves, Pat Cilliers were there. They were the young pops coming through. He's hard though, isn't he? Like proper goes and bangs boys.
Oh, mate, I tell you what, the big thing, and that's why I brought it up first, because I know how tough it's been for him to get back from injury. There was a lot of talk of him not being able to play again. So from a personal point of view, I'm well happy for him because, hey, firstly, I know what it's like to have a buggered back, but also to be able to carry on playing at that level when there's talk of you retiring in your prime. And we've obviously had friends, we've seen players, Jack Clifford being the obvious one, Will Hurrell recently. It's great for Rhodesy to be back playing and winning, for sure. And it wasn't just him as well. Like
Swinno, mate. Swinno, it was definitely him.
No. I was going to talk about like Alex Lewington and Brad Barrett. I mean, there was
Swinno.
All right, Swinno. All right.
Yeah, he said it.
And Swinno, I said it. He was there. He was a body.
Yeah.
But there was so much going into that game for a lot of players. And, obviously Rhodesy I'm happy for. Jack's Ray 250, but another one is Brad Barrett. That was last game. How good?
That bloke is phenomenal. Like he was the focal point of getting over the game line a lot of the time, wasn't he? Like early on, bang, gets 5-10 yards over the game line, which is all about what Saracens do. They didn't try and complicate things. And I know we've always said it about Brad. He's durable. He's a great leader, and you know him better than anyone on this podcast. But he can still go, and he's. His body is going to be a bit sore from all the bashes that he's dished out and taken himself. He could still go again, I reckon.
Would you want to, though? How long do you want to keep going for like that?
I don't know. Well, you're a long time retired. You are a long time retired, aren't you?
You are,
as we know. But there is that effect of being able to retire on your own terms when you can still run around, or go in a bit too far and you're absolutely fucked.
Or you can just come back for the cheap turns.
Yeah.
Can you say that or not? I don't even know what
you can. Mate, you can
I can say it now. Thank you.
All the talk was about Propgate going into the Exeter Northampton game. What do you guys make of all that, and also the game itself?
Well, the first question, ridiculous. Rules is rules, laws is laws, and all that. I don't know. I don't get how something so big can cause such a big problem. Like for me, it's an easy fix, I think. In terms of being able to bring players in off loan, whatever. I mean, obviously I'm not there to make the laws or the rules, but the scrum, and this is the thing, there's a big debate around why can't tight heads play loose heads. I'm not going to get into that. Why can't hookers play loose head and tight? They're specialist positions, right? But it's also the most dangerous position, being in the front row on the pitch. You can't just bring academy lads in to kind of fill that void, which you could arguably do on the flank or in any other position. You could put a player in to fill. You could play a second row in the back row. You could play a back row, arguably, in the second row. But you need specialist players. But I'm telling you what, Manny Iogun was unbelievable in his performance. After the build, he would have felt the pressure as well in the lead up to that. So, Andy Rowe, I'm just trying to draw out the positives, mate, out of all this, because I don't like getting involved in the politics. But
yeah, he was good, mate. He was, a hell of a performance from a youngster. When you've transitioned from number 8 as well. I think he went up against Coley last week as well for Leicester. Went all right there. But you need depth, right? You need to be able to bring someone in. And it was just bizarre that ERC Rugby just took so long to let them do it. It's not like Chris Boyd was trying to pull the wool over their eyes and bring in Tendai Mtawira or, an absolute worldie. They're just trying to get anyone that could safely play loose head prop. And I go back to a game, I'll never forget this. I go back to a game, I played Leinster away for Leicester early on in my career. Darren Garforth was injured. I can't remember who was our backup tight head. He was injured as well. And it was literally looking around. Derek Jelly and Graham Rowntree were our 2 loose head props.
Oh, my jellyfish.
Yeah. And Wigg, who, we all know Wigg's career. He was a phenomenal player for England, for Leicester, British and Irish Lions. He was like, fuck it, I'll give it a go. And he moved over to tight head prop against Leinster in a European Cup game. And it was a Friday night at Donnybrook. The masses were baying for blood because Leicester were in town. I think we were champions at the time.
No doubt.
And then the first scrum, and I know Graham Rowntree listens to the podcast, so I don't know whether this will embarrass him or he'll just go, yeah, it happened. I'll never forget, as a fly half, seeing Graham Rowntree, British and Irish Lion, loose head prop, playing tight head. He's lifted about 7 foot in the air by the Leinster scrum because it's a whole different ball game. And I'm like, fucking hell, if he's getting done, like, we're going to struggle tonight. So it's clear, even back in the day, and that was like 1984 when that game was going on. Back in the day, it was a very difficult thing to do. Now it's players are bigger, stronger, more technical, I think, and scrums are a real place where, you know, injuries, as we know with people, can be very serious, and safety has to be paramount.
Wig grabbed me last week.
Did he?
Said 2 things, and then hung up. First thing, loving the podcast.
Yeah.
Second thing he said, Lions, all eyes are on you. And then he hung up. I swear to God, he rang me last week, and it was like, I don't know, you know, he's a legend, but we'll speak to Wig once every 2 years, once in a blue moon. Never now, because we're not allowed out the houses. So I see him ring me, and I'm thinking back to 2013. I'm thinking Lions. I'm thinking surely not.
You're thinking, what have I done? What have I done wrong for him to
exactly, what's happened? I'm thinking, have I said something on the podcast? He says two lines. Jim, Big Jim, Wig, love the podcast. Lions, all eyes are on you. Hung up.
What a ledge.
What can you say?
Yeah, what a ledge.
Well, we're going to have a chat now with the man of the match from that game as well now. Extra's Jacques Vermeulen joins us. How are you, mate?
Good, thanks. And yourself, mate?
Jacques, great to have you on, mate. Is it Jacques, or I was mates with Jacques, but I am mates with Jacques.
Yeah, mate, that's
Berger.
perfect. No, that's perfect, mate, yeah.
Mate, I love it, mate. I'm loving the South African lads at the minute. Well, we're chatting to Rhodesy as well, and obviously watching Cheslin Colby carve up the rugby field at the weekend. What is it with you South African lads? You just, mate, it's your time. It's your time on the planet at the minute.
Yeah, I know. I think the South Africans are doing well in the Premiership at the moment, and I think all over in Europe as well. So I think with the boys winning the World Cup, I think it's just everyone has to make a step up if you want to like reach that level. So you have to be on your best every weekend if you want to if you want to get into that setup.
Well, let's talk about it then. You say you got to be on your best every weekend. Let's be pretty honest. You were at your best yesterday, scoring absolute worldie of a try, smashing people, carrying big, phenomenal performance. How sore is the body today? Because you're looking all right. You've got your gym vest on. You've probably been pumping the iron again today, have you?
No, I've actually been just relaxing today. We had an off day, so that's quite like just to get our recovery in. I think this weekend is going to be important to get your recovery in because it's obviously a short turnaround. We're playing on Saturday. So today was just all about recovery. Went into the club, did some ice baths and stuff, so that just to fix the body and look after everything. For the weekend.
Mate, of course, mate. I was going to say there's one big game coming up for the weekend, obviously with the semi. I just want to go back and just find out how you ended up at Exeter, because I know that they're very diligent. They're very particular on who they bring to the club, both on players' performances on the pitch, also their character off the pitch. So how did that all come about? I've got I met with Stuart Hogg and Johnny Gray, and I know they went through, I'd almost say, not animals, but a vetting process to get them there.
Yeah, no, it's actually like I actually had a few interviews. It's almost like an interview when Rob Baxter called me up. It actually happened quickly. I was busy re-signing with my old club back in South Africa, and he called me up and he was like, "Listen, we're interested to bring you over here." But obviously, he was like, he basically had an interview with me, and he said to me like, "Listen, we our club environment is not like any other club. Like it's different to other clubs." So like he asked me a few questions that involves a few questions that obviously that fits the club's profile, and and at the end he decided to sign me, and I was really happy because obviously it's a very good team. I watched them obviously on telly back home, and I was like looking forward to come here, and at the end I ended up here. Went through a few processes, but at the end ended up here.
Can I just check? Did you just call him Sir Rob Baxter? Is that what he's known as down in Devon? Because he should be, because he's a legend, right?
I think I read somewhere today it was called Sir Rob Baxter, but someone's called him in the media Sir Rob Baxter. But yeah, no, we just know him as Rob, obviously. So yeah.
Oh mate, let's try and get Sir Rob to stick then, shall we?
Yeah, no, we should actually.
Mate, we should ask as well. So that some of the questions that come in is one of the main questions he asks you what your choice of drink is when you arrive, or is it just a case of what you like to do in your spare time? Because they're big on that. The culture at Exeter, and they'll probably chat a little bit about that, is well thought of, and it's kind of a little bit of a mystery. I speak to Hoggy and Johnny, and they don't give me much insight. You just hear rumours. But how have you found settling into Exeter? How does it compare to the beaches and the sharks of Durban?
Well, obviously, winter time is quite tough. Back home, I was in in tropic conditions, and in Durban, it was all year round. It was nice, hot. Could on a Sunday when it's winter after a game, you could pop down to the beach and just chill. But yeah, no, life here is wonderful. Exeter is a lovely city. Obviously, it has its beaches. It's a lot of stuff to do around. Nice golf courses. I love to play some golf here. Obviously, some of the boys like some duck shooting and stuff. So, yeah, still waiting for Johnny Hill to take us out to go shoot some ducks. But it's wonderful. Like life here, it's good. It's good people. It's down to earth people here down here, and it's what I'm used to back home. It was really easy to settle in. So yeah, the people made it easy. The club and the players as well. Everyone's just amazing. Like all the boys are so inviting. It was good.
And you just mentioned Johnny Hill then. Can we just talk about his current setup? Because his beard looks horrendous, doesn't it? Has he been getting some stick about that at the club or what? Hell of a player, hell of a reach for the try yesterday, but his beard looks horrors.
Yeah, no, I think he's trying to pull something out of the Omnish there or something. I don't know what he's trying to do, but it's... Johnny, I think you just have to give him some time, so 2 more months or something to grow it out. I don't know what he's trying to do.
So Exeter, right? They've been at the top of the game for a long time. Europe's been a tough one for you guys as a team. That's the next evolution. It's something that we've spoken about over the last couple of years as well. Is how far you guys can go in Europe, having done so well in the Premiership. Is there that inner pressure? Is Sir Rob putting that pressure on you guys to go out there and actually do something in Europe this year?
I think, obviously, every club wants to win trophies, and I think that is a given. I just think this year it's just pressure on ourselves because, like, we as players say to ourselves, like in the squad, I'll say in a squad that is not involved with the coaches, that we owe ourselves and the coaches and the people of Exeter, or all the Exeter Chiefs supporters, we owe ourselves, like we say, to win cups this year. And I think that just puts extra pressure on you to perform as well. I think, as a squad, we know what we're striving to, and we're obviously taking it game by game. But the thing is that now with knockout stages, there's no lapse for to lose concentration or to get complacent. I think this weekend coming up is a big one, and I think it's a semi-final. So if you don't feel under pressure, if you don't feel nervous or whatever for a semi-final, I don't think you belong in this team. Or in any team. So I think a semi-final just puts it out, like you have to get up for a semi-final. I think it's big, and if you want to win trophies, you have to turn up on the day.
And obviously playing the semi-final against Toulouse, they had a big performance on Sunday as well against Ulster. A fellow South African, Cheslin Colby, absolutely tore it up. How the hell are you going to stop him? Because I just reckon sometimes he's not defendable. Do you just put 4 men on him straight away? Is it all about the inside defender? Have you talked about it this week already?
No, actually I haven't been into the club, so or had meetings or whatever. We had a few, obviously we're going to do our reviews and everything and previews and stuff this week on day game and whatever. I think we have world-class wings, guys that can defend them. We have a guy like Jack Noel, we've got a guy like John Maflaherty, whoever gets selected for the match, that just has to make, everyone has to make their tackles. He's a very good stepper. We saw it in the World Cup. We saw now in the quarterfinal. So I think if you've got him in front of you, you have to be on your toes. You can't be on your heels.
I'll probably be on my hands or my head if I was playing against him. I'll be honest. I mean, he's one of my favourite players. But one of the other things as well, and quite interested to chat to you about this, especially with the way that you guys play at Exeter and have done for a long time, but against the bigger teams, like obviously Toulouse at the weekend, but your Racines and Clermont, who probably play a similar style in terms of quite set piece dominant, the pick and go game that you guys like to do. There's a few layers that have been added into the Exeter team. Obviously, Hoggy has come to the club at 15. Again, I don't want to stutter through what I'm about to say because I don't know too much about the backs plays, but there is more kicking that you guys are doing. You've added more layers to the attack. Is that something consciously that's been done to evolve, or has that just been a kind of natural thing with guys like Slade, more experienced now, and guys like Hoggy in the team?
Obviously, they bring a lot of X factor to the team. Guys like Hoggy, Slade, Nolsey, all the boys in the back line can step, run with the ball. I just think it's to stay, like, obviously there's a game plan. So they give us a game plan, but whatever you do in that game plan and do outside it, I think you must just back yourself and do it 100%. I think obviously in the first half, like if you look back at this past game, like in the first half, I think like we were playing a bit in ourselves, like we weren't like expressing ourselves. And I just think like obviously over the years they've been evolving this game plan so that you can obviously express yourself within the game plan. It's my first year, so I'm still learning as well. So I think we have the players that can obviously express themselves. So
yeah, just because, and you mentioned one of the players there, Henry Slade, who I've got a bit of a man crush on, I'll be honest, until we had a few of the Exeter boys on. He's a wonderfully good-looking boy. He's a fantastic rugby player. But some of the Exeter boys that have come on our podcast said he's got horrendous breath. Is that true, or can you enlighten us? Has he brushed his teeth yet? Has he sorted it out?
Oh, Hoggy, no. I think Hoggy's breath is perfect. I don't go that close to him, but yeah, okay. I don't know. Like, I think his breath is perfect. He's my teammates. I can't. Stick him up like that.
Mate, so we only say that because the guy's obviously sponsored by Porsche. He's got these six-figure deals flying around. He looks amazing. So there's got to be something. It was actually Johnny Hill. And if a man with a beard like that is talking about breath, then it's got to be bad. That's all I'm thinking.
Yeah, I know. I think Slade don't even have that. He's with cheap now, so yeah, it's calmed down now.
There we go. And obviously your background playing at the Sharks as well in South Africa. You played South African under-20s. Obviously your allegiance is with South Africa. Are you seeing that as a long-term goal to play for the Springboks? Obviously we've got the next summer we've got the Lions, British and Irish Lions going over there. Would you love to be involved in that?
Yeah, I think it's every boy's dream to play for their country. I know it's a dream. It's a dream for me to play for the Springboks one day if I can make the next step. I think there's obviously still a lot of work to do and a lot of games to get under my belt just to build my experience to actually, if I get that opportunity one day, hopefully, to take the next step. But definitely I would love to be involved against the British and Irish Lions. I think that comes only every 4 years they play. Or is it every 4 years?
Every 12 to go to South Africa, every 4 for you guys. Every 12 to go to South Africa and every 4 years for us over here.
Yeah, and I think I think it's amazing if you get to play against them because I think I read the other day. I think Peter Step de Toy said that it's almost bigger than the World Cup to play against the British and Irish Lions. And I think it's any boy's dream to play against them. It's massive. Everyone, the whole world's eyes is on that game. So it will be. I'll be working hard so that I just can get into the maybe breakthrough into the Black Springbok, so to say, setup. I'll be working hard with all the coaches down here. So hopefully they can get me on that level to make that next step.
All right, Jacques. Well, thank you very much for coming on the show, mate. Best of luck winning that silverware that you guys are chasing with Exeter. And, of course, hopefully we'll see you up against the Lions maybe next year.
Cheers, guys. Thank you so much for the opportunity.
Cheers, Jacques.
Cheers. Have a good night.
Good bloke.
Good bloke.
Good bloke.
Mate, forget the bloke. Tell the player that. My goodness, mate.
He's hard as well, isn't he?
I'll tell you what. I'm easily converted, right? And I also like to piggyback the camels. Nay. And with our guests, that guy is a monster, mate.
Yeah.
In all good senses that I mean when I say that. And I love South African players. I love the way they play. We're very similar in terms of how we go about our business. Just all that aggression, mate. You're laughing, mate. It's just all that aggression.
He's just compared you, mate. He's just compared you to Victor Matfield.
Of course.
He must be deluded. He must be deluded.
Mate, he knows. He knows, mate. He's a young lad coming through. He knows what's what. But I tell you, and that's why I asked about the recruitment, right? Because they do handpick. So they've got Janus Kirsten there. They've got Hoggy. They've signed Johnny Gray. I hope I'm not missing any of their signings out, but they don't sign many players. And when they do, my wordy, they're good and he's quality.
Yeah, he is. I reckon he's got a sniff as well. You keep playing that way, there's no rugby going on in South Africa at the minute. And they are starting to bring it back. I know there's a competition starting in a couple of weeks' time, and there's a Springbok trial game as well and all this stuff. But if you're playing like that in top-level competition as Jacques is, mate, he's going to be knocking on the door come Lions time, I reckon.
Because Francois Lowe's retired now.
Yeah.
Got
Dwayne
Vermeulen still playing, but he's getting on a little bit. Obviously, there's a guy called Khaleesi as well, which they seem to like.
Yeah, Peter Steph de Toy's obviously worldy as well. But
he's been injured though. He had a really bad hip injury, didn't he, or something, leg injury or something.
You're gonna need hard so-and-sos like him,
mate. I tell you what, South Africans, mate, hard as nails.
And they love their ruggers as well, don't they? He's literally watching a game. What's he watching now? Quins against Sale in the Mickey Mouse Cup. But he's loving it. They just live ruggers, don't they? It
was always a tough ask for Ulster, but Toulouse really ran away with it in the end, didn't they?
Mate, Goodey scored, mate. End off.
That's all that matters, right?
Mate, doesn't matter. He was on the wing. His hair was on point. Let the dust settle a little bit, not on his hair, on my hair, but let the dust settle. We'll get our Celtic correspondent back on, mate. Yeah, mate, Ulster are always going to struggle. Don't want to be horrible.
There's a couple of things on it, really. So, Jim, you know, you've watched them in the final last week. We talked about a few things previously with their semi-final win over #AlwaysEdinburgh. They go with a 6-2 bench, right? And you mentioned it on the pod. And Jim, you're a wise man. You're a wise man.
What did I say?
You mentioned a few weeks ago Billy Burns was struggling with a few knocks when you're doing your work for Premier Sports TV, right? Lo and behold, Billy Burns goes off after 15 minutes. But Ulster have gone for a 6-2 bench. So they've got Matt Fadez on the bench, right? No Madigan. Madigan wins them the semi a couple of weeks ago, but because they've gone for the 6-2 split, Mads doesn't make the bench.
I just presumed he was injured.
No, Jim.
No.
And then, you know, there's a few turning points. Obviously, that one, Billy Burns is your starting 10. You know, Fadez comes on, and all due respect, you know, you'd want Madigan to come on for Billy Burns, but you've gone with a selection, a 6-2 bench that doesn't suit, so that's gone against them. But first half, they were battling. You know, Toulouse were on top. Things weren't necessarily clicking all the way, but that try just before half-time by Cheslin Colby when he's stepped stock horse about 6 times. Well, he hasn't. He's just done it once. But, oh, my step. That was a big turning point. So you're 8-3 down with 1 minute and 30 left on the clock just before half-time. And obviously, Cheslin Colby does what Cheslin Colby does, skin someone. So you go in 15-3 down at half-time. And then 10 minutes after half-time, Sofiane Guitoun breaks through a Fadez tackle. His pants fall down. His horse is nearly coming out. He's running. It's a smooth bum as well, I reckon. But he's running along as fast, still trying to pull his shorts up. Pulls his shorts up.
Leave him down.
Mate, just leave him down and run. And then he puts Dupont away for a try, and that was game over then, wasn't it? So also we're in the fight, but you concede a try in the championship minutes, as they're called, Jim, just before half-time. And that was the difference, really.
I love how you've gone into loads of detail about the half-time, Cheslin Colby's step. All I'm doing is pausing when Cheslin Colby's going through on camera angle 3, 4 or 10, or whichever one it is, on Stockdale the horse's hair. Mate, he's
gone.
He's obviously bald. Mate, he's thinning. He's thinning. He needs suns. Literally, so I'm not even looking at what minute it's in. I'm not thinking about the championship points. I'm thinking, mate,
get him suns.
The man's going bold. Anyway, yeah, too far for Ulster. I don't know. I don't think Toulouse are that good. I don't know what I'm saying. They've got They've got some very good players. Obviously, Dupont's one of the best 9s in the world. Obviously, Cheslin Colby, for me, is in the top 5 players in the world. They've got a big old pack, of
Mate,
course.
Gittoon's quality as well.
Yeah, Gittoon, obviously Kano, Corey. Oh, actually, I take back my comment, mate. They're unbelievable, this Toulouse team. Mate, they're unreal.
Yeah.
Well, they're in a semi. They're in a semi, mate, so they must be good.
Well, what do you reckon, Jim? Racing Saracens in the semi over at La Défense Arena under the lights with about 4,000 fans probably. Repeat of the group stages.
Don't know. I just think for Saracens, all the emotion's gone into that game. Leinster could have come back in. The big turning point or the big thing out of that Leinster game was the scrum, in my opinion. That's why Sarries won that game, because they absolutely horsed them in the scrum. I just think Racing, I don't know, can I say it?
You just did.
You just
did.
Did
I? Did I?
Yeah. You said Racing.
Did I?
You said Racing and Camel shout. Camel didn't shout.
Oh, my neck.
Shout.
Oh, my neck. Oh, my neck.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just think Racing. Mate, if Sarries win, I was going to say they could win it. Of course they could, because they're in the final.
Yay!
Oh, I don't know. I want to say Sarries. I really do. I didn't think they beat Leinster. I think Racing.
Why being horrible?
I'm not. I'm being diplomatic here.
I see what you're trying to do. Because you backed Leinster to beat Saracens, and then Saracens won. You're doing the same again. You're going to back Racing and hope that Saracens win. Here's one for you, though.
I'm Sarries. Mate, I'm Sarries, hashtag always. I don't even know what the tagline is. We are Sarries. What is it? I forgot.
It's an interesting one, though, isn't it? For Finn Russell, right? And we know he's a magician. We know, like, in a loose game, he can absolutely carve up. Saracens aren't going to give him any space at all, are they? And that's the thing. Saracens shut him down and shut his magic down. Have Racing got somewhere else to go? And they've got the power game. Camel shat, didn't shat, but he shat. The big pressure, and I genuinely believe this, big pressure on Finn Russell. If Finn Russell comes through this test with flying colours and can play against a press defence, can play against a physically dominant Saracens team, and
I know where you're going with this.
He's going to be the Lions 10. That's all I'm saying.
Mate.
That's all I'm saying. And that's as big of the game as it is, really. You don't get bigger than you do get bigger than the Champions Cup semi-final, you get the final. But he's got everything now to be judged on. He's not playing behind a Scottish pack with Jim Hamilton in the second row that's going backwards at a rate of knots. And you're saying, Finn, mate, can you just produce some magic to try and get us back in this game? Because he can do that. It's now about he's got a team that could be dominant, but he's coming up against, historically, probably the best defence in Europe over the last God knows how many years. Has he got the magic now? When the pressure's going to be on him, isn't it? Well, Maritoji's going to go after him.
Yeah.
You know, all those big boys. Maro's going to go after him. You saw Maro go after Sexton. You saw Michael Rhodes go after. They're going to be going after Finn Russell and making him go to the line and hit him as well. And that's where he's a magician when you stand off him and look around what he's going to do. He's going to get banged a bit, isn't he?
I know it means a lot to him as well. I know he's obviously comes across as a bit of a maverick, a bit of a joker, doesn't really think too much about what other people think, but I know that this year is hugely important to him. So I think you're right, Goodey. Hey, we're agreeing.
Ruggers.
Look at us.
Exeter Toulouse, how do you guys see that panning out?
Exeter rely on the size of their pack, their forward play, their collisions, the physicality. But I'm going to say Exeter because I think that I think they can match Toulouse, but I just think the game plan that they've got, and the players that Jacques mentions with Noley and Hoggy and Slade being fit and playing well gives them that point of difference. But the issue you've got with Toulouse is, mate, you've got Ches and Colby, so he can score from anywhere. So I'm going. Heart says Exeter, head says Exeter as well. I'm going for it.
I think the big thing with Toulouse are the offloading game they play. They don't play with much structure. And I've been coached by Hugo Moller when I was at Brive. They get given a lot of space. Chesney Colby sometimes gets given space. You look at the weekend, he got given space at times, and you give a man like that space and he's devastating. And some of the other players, Gittoon up the middle, was given space, was given opportunities to break tackles. Exeter just don't give that to teams. You know, Toulouse are going to have to work very hard to create opportunities. Exeter are a brilliant side at nullifying opposition with their possession game that they go for as well. They've got a solid kicking game. Dupont and players like that have got the X factor, but I just don't think that Exeter will switch off and allow them the opportunities that they are given in other areas, which may frustrate Toulouse. And then hopefully, obviously, I'm an Exeter fan as well now. I want Exeter to be in the final. It's their maiden semi-final, Exeter. Last time they got to the quarters, who knocked them out? I haven't mentioned this yet. Wasps. Of course we did.
I don't remember it. I don't remember quarters.
I'd obviously left and Jimmy Gopperth kicked the winner a few years back now. And then they played you in the semi-final, Jim. Saracens. What? Were you on the bench in that one?
I don't know, but where are Wasps this week? I'm just asking. I'm just asking the question. I ain't seen them. I haven't seen them anywhere.
I think we're third in the league, Jim.
Okay.
They're all on holiday. But you're right. I'm going Exeter to beat Toulouse.
Where is it?
Exeter.
There you go, mate. You said it twice. Exeter.
Cheers, Goodey. Thanks, Jim. Thanks, producer Tim. And thank you very much for listening as well. Don't forget to hit subscribe on whatever platform you get your podcasts on, and check us out on YouTube as well.
Rugby Pod.
Pod.